Works now. Am I able to use other apps while I'm doing that? Okay. How do I use this, dude? Hmm. Nice. Okay. So basically, it's still working, I guess. But I can't really see the. This is enough. Sorry, but I'm feeling that same kind of energy. The only problem that we have is how do we spot which ones are which? Like, if I'm being real, that's what should have happened when Trump got into office. But as you can see, Trump's not a savage. He's not a freaking barbarian, so that's why we didn't do that. But that's why enough is enough. Done with this invasion, done with this taking our jobs, done with I went into the emergency room, freaking lady from a different country, barely spoke English, could not give me anything for the pain. I was in severe pain. Lady's just giggling. Hey, how you doing? Menu Po. Um but I think that's absolutely insane. You know, if you're from a different country, I don't hate you. I think you're an amazing person just as every other planet. If you're breaking into our country and you're 250,000 victims, that's insane, dude. If you see that the people from your country are causing these kinds of issues and being like a problem for you, they're making you look bad. That should you stand up as an immigrant to speak out against this kind of nasty behavior. You got people coming from these other countries cutting in line, not just cutting in line of Americans, of every immigrant that came to this country and these Western countries legally. You know, you're screwing over your own people, and you're going to screw over your own people at the end of the day because you're not going to be allowed to be here anymore. You know, I used to be like, hey, we should have some sympathy because they're coming from a bad place and they need help. But not the sympathy like that. No, they shouldn't be given free reign just to run into the freaking country and do it all illegally. You know, there should be a process, a vetting process. But at this point, because of all the abuses that have occurred and all of the interactions that I've had with these people that broke into this country and even the people that just came here legally, at this point, they all hate us, white American males. Get out. Get the fuck out of our country. That's insane. I'm done with it. Enough is enough. And I suggest all you immigrants get the fuck out before there's a problem. And it has nothing to do with your race. It has everything to do with, do you belong in this country or not? Do you actually want to be here and work with Americans or not? If you don't want to work with Americans, get the hell out. We don't want to get to the point of Scottish man running down the street with an axe, because that's what's gonna end up happening if this shit doesn't get fixed. Because I've had enough. You know, I've gone, my entire lifetime has been basically robbed by foreigners. Going from foreign exchange students when I was a kid to stealing my freaking job opportunities when I was an adult and even a teenager. I'm fucking done with it. Oh, but that's a foreign exchange student. He's so smart. What do you mean he's so smart? The only thing he does is academics. No wonder he's so smart in that subject. Bro, I'm smarter. So when I'm smarter than the freaking foreign, and then they're saying that I'm not that great because I was born here, that's insane. That was as a child. I was in elementary school and they were doing that shit to me. Elementary school kid. You're not as this foreigner just because you were born here and you had... That makes no sense. Absolutely enough, and it's about damn time we get rid of these fuckers. You know, this Iran situation, they poured terrorists from all over the world into the Western world to annihilate. They did a secret takeover. I'm done with it. You know, all the chicks that were like, we should care, you didn't actually care. If you cared, you would have gave a fuck about me. If you cared about humans, oh, I care about humans so much, we need to allow people to invade in the country. If you cared so much, you would care about humans in general. You wouldn't care where the fuck they're from, right? Why the hell are you being nasty towards Americans? Your own people. People within your own country. You're gonna be nasty to? That's insane. But that's why women aren't supposed to have such a big choice. They're not supposed to own things. They're not supposed to be in charge of things. Because all they do is hate. You know, they want to make dudes... If dudes were more hateful than we are right now, you wouldn't see peace on the streets. You wouldn't see box vehicles driving down the road. You wouldn't see roads built. Because we'd be running around with axes. Enough is enough. You can't shame dudes anymore into, oh, you know, you're a terrible person, you're hateful and all this stuff. It doesn't work anymore. Especially after all the BS that we've had to put up with. So thankfully I can speak right now. I think it's the lidocaine. The lidocaine may have created a barrier on, like, between my nerve and the open air. So right now I don't feel like any pain. It's insane. I went from 2 days straight of crying and screaming into a pillow. I was showing you guys too. I literally live streamed some of it. I was in so much pain, and I don't know when that pain's gonna hit again. But I woke up without pain, and I ended up getting Oragel last night. I didn't even have to open this up yet. But imagine going to the emergency room, you're screaming and crying in pain, and some bitch that's getting paid, she don't even know how to speak English fully. She's sitting there like, oh, he's in pain. She's in the other freaking room talking about vacations and how we're going to bring patients back to the hospital. Because, yay, you know, we just all go to the hospital a bunch of times, a bunch of emergencies. Like the same people going into the emergency room multiple times, and they're happy about it. Yay! That's because they're screwing us. They're taking us out. Dude, most of our debt is like from borrowing. People borrowing money. People going into the emergency room with barely any sort of an emergency. They got the sniffles, but they want to take a day off of work. That's the kind of bullshit that we got going on right now. I go into the emergency room because the lady don't speak English. She's not going to give me the proper treatment. You do not need your fucking job. You need to be fired immediately. If you don't speak English, you shouldn't be in charge of anything. You shouldn't be doing the work like that. You shouldn't be in charge of a fucking hospital. That's insane. You should be out there tilling the fucking fields like you came here to do. Oh, we wanna make sure that we continue the farming jobs. We need to make sure that we have people to do all the, you know, the grunt work on farms. Well, then get the fuck out there. Go fucking farm. We shouldn't have a single moment of food shortages when we got 40 million people that don't belong in this fucking country here taking our jobs. Enough is enough. Fuck, man. They've taken over the emergency room. You know, if you're a foreigner, if you're like a person from Mexico, if you're a person from you know, Russia or wherever, I don't have hate towards you in your country. I actually respect you in your country. I respect what you do. If you're in a third world country, India, I respect what you do in that country. If you know how to use your hands and make things and be, you know, a laborious machine, that's an amazing thing. I'll continue liking your videos. I'll keep double tapping those shorts. I don't mind supporting you that way. You're coming here and you're taking over the emergency rooms of all places. That's insane. That's kind of cool. This app has like the toast message thing, so I was able to see the actual messages. So when I go live and I'm like screencasting, I have to turn my messages off because I can never like reliably read my messages. So using this one was kind of nice. So right now I'm using a separate app where I can go and do other things on my phone while I'm streaming. And you guys don't have to see everything that I'm doing, but I also don't have to go split screen. So that means I can open up Atlas Earth or something, ride around, collect diamonds, and there's not going to be an issue with connectivity. But right now I can speak, and this is what I'm going to use my time for. Enough is enough. We need to get these people out. And we need to be able to identify them, and that's why Palantir. That's why, you know, Overlord AI system, because we need to identify these fuckers before we get rid of them. Because I'm all on board. Mass deportation at this point. I want all 40 million people that came in here in the last 10 years to get the fuck out. That's the side I'm on. No more, you know, it'll work itself out. No, dude, it ain't working itself out. I went to an emergency room, and it took for me into a place that I had to get a schedule to get a tooth fixed. I saw a dude who barely spoke English. He gets immediately in there. Car. Messed up part with a car that's broken down. The dude goes in there, he drives into the driving spot, got a brand new fucking car. And first it's in there, he's walking. But I had to schedule. This was not a walk-in place. Enough is enough. We're fucking done. And there's way more people than you know. If you're a person that's like, yay, migrants, yay, we should bring a bunch of them in. There's more people than you know that are against this shit out. Who have not spoke out. The silent majority is there. You fuck with Trump, you fuck with all of us. And Trump needs to get on and to, you know, do more to get the... If you don't take it seriously, you're going to take it seriously and own your house. So it's all gonna work itself out at some point. It's just you could work it out and have a peaceful resolution right now by just kicking. In the future, it's gonna be fucking axes and bows, dude. I'm sick of this shit. You know, if things don't work out right, it's gonna be axes and bows. You know, you got in the UK people that have invaded into the country get to walk around, while the regular people, the Britain people in that country that live there, that were born there, don't get to carry around self-defense tools. Hell no. You're gonna go try to arrest a little girl, a 12-year-old girl that's from a man hitting on her. You're gonna go arrest her. She's holding an axe. Did she swing it at him? No, she said, don't fuck with me. But we're gonna go arrest that chick? Come on, dude. You're gonna go arrest a 12-year-old for defending herself. That's the kind of bullshit that we're done with. Enough is enough. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. Dude. And you know, the chicks that have been keeping their... I'm gonna tell you something. They don't actually give a fuck about these migrants. You know, they're forced to give a fuck. Because they're an emotional type of species. And forced that sort of an emotional opinion. So that's why you get a lot of chicks that are like freaking out. They're forced to have that emotional outburst. when the tables turn and when people get their country, there's only 2% of the country that's here illegally. When the people wake up and they want out these 40 million migrants, the only thing that the migrants are doing is they're doing like command and conquer, like divide and conquer. That division only lasts so long. So one day, just as you can see with the Irish uprising, you see the UK uprising, Restore Britain, you see these uprisings right now, that's automatic. So yeah, there's cycles. You're going to see like the divide and conquer. You can divide and conquer a country for a little bit. At the end of the day, that division breaks down. You're going to have some kind of form of communication between buy groceries from each other. You're going to need to make trade with each other. Division breaks down, and then you have a connection again. And what are they going to connect with? What are they going to unify under? And it's not going to matter if you're white or black or Asian or anything like that. It doesn't matter. If you are an American, if you sound American 100%, you can be here. Why actually acclimated to this Western way of life? So we wanted to make it like, hey, if you're acting right, if you're not confused, then you could stay here. If you're an immigrant, I don't care if they've committed a felony. I don't care if they've done anything illegal while they're here. Get the fuck out. H-1Bs, get the fuck out. Stop taking my tech jobs. I could have had those jobs. I wasn't allowed to have those jobs because you were taking those jobs. You were accepting less money. 10% less. That's insane. I would have done a better job than you. It shouldn't have taken 15 years for YouTube to be able to put shorts on while you're outside of the app. That's insane. How many H-1Bs are running YouTube software? Are writing that software right now? Too many. But nothing's getting fixed. I don't know how crazy I look right now because I don't see my camera because I get this little tiny little me. But we need to start rising up, and it's going to happen. I ain't about to do that because obviously it's legal, but in spirit, that's what I'd be doing right now. If law and order broke down, that would be the first people that you would want to get out of your country. People look it up. Apparently a Scottish dude started hacking up migrants. He's like, I'm fucking done with this shit. Dude. Sovereign citizen of each nation defend their nation from invaders. So that goes for every country. If you're in India, I don't mind it. Do what you got to do. South Africa, that's a difficult situation. Africa should be left the hell alone. Like whoever's in Africa should accept who's actually living there. It's a whole different ball game. Africa wants to claim we were in it. Well, apparently, if you're the first humans on the planet, then all white people, you people as well. You know what I mean? If we came from you, then we are. You can't attack us. We belong, right? If Africans want to take the credit for humanity, okay, then we came from Africa, right? That's our homeland. That's what we. So that's where going after white farmers in South Africa and shit. No, you don't get to do that. Those people belong there, right? Because if we all originated from Africa, then those white people are also Africans. Because if we, Europeans, are in America, we originated from Europe. In Europe, right? So If we want to be in Europe, then we should be allowed to be in Europe. But we've already conquered America, and we're here. If you want to break into that country, you're breaking into an ideology, because it's not a race anymore. We have too many people from all over the planet that have already made it here as immigrants legally, and they're here. There's other people that are not here legally that need to get the fuck out. And families out there treating your own children, your own nephews or whatever, neighbors and stuff, as foreigners, you're fucking retarded as well. You know, you're part of the problem. Many of you have probably kicked out your own fucking family members when they were chicks are supposed to be in the house, cooking and cleaning, taking care of. That's what you're for. We don't need making, you know, 5 able to raise, you know, keep home together on fucking. That's insane. That's meant for disabled people. People I call Friday in different places I call Friday, each of them was a woman, and they couldn't give legitimate exact details for each during that call. I asked, does this place have an oral surgeon just in case? You know, I'm dealing with excruciating pain while this bitch is sitting in a fucking chair making money, but just telling people sorry. Job, sit in a fucking chair and tell people sorry, we can't help you. Brave and empowered. You definitely made it to that chair on time. But you're fucking useless. Bureaucracy. Get back to efficiency. I shouldn't be dealing with a second of mouth pain after the amount of work that I had done before I got hit by a vehicle. And even after hit by a vehicle 2 times, my leg got messed up. After that, got attacked, messed my knee up. After that, got hit by a vehicle, not once but twice, both times side of my body. Need to work. That's actually getting work done. That's actually being useful in society. To keep up and back up on that fucking horse. You got chicks that are fucking complaining about having to sit in the chair for too long. While these same people, for the people that are allowing this invasion to happen and take all and make these labor jobs worth, those same bitches, they're the ones voting for people to come invade the country. This has got to stop. Enough is enough. That's why we need AI to determine who belongs here and who doesn't. Who belongs to be sitting in that chair and who doesn't. Are you actually doing your job? Are not overseeing humans properly. I've said it in government oversight. I think there's a lot of people that have got in there recently and they're like, yeah, we do need oversight. I think Kash Patel is stuck between a rock and a hard place right now, and that's why he's not doing very much. He can't do very much. Agencies do it based on the law. They're trying to do it to the T of the law, because if they don't do it that way, then the criminal gets away with whatever the hell they did. That's the blind spot that the intelligence agencies have, and that's why they're not releasing, because there's certain things that they couldn't go after because of that reason, because they have blind spots, legal blind spots. I'm not going to tell you what those legal blind spots are, but They're there. They didn't want to tell people from other countries that want to hurt us where our blind spots are eyes. And it makes total sense. There's certain protocol, there's certain procedures that are taken when dealing with all. But I've been enough is enough for at least the last couple of years. So I'm glad to see he's doing it. Pardon that man, whoever did that. Find it at this point. You know, there's people on this of the aisle that are conservative, sort of, that are like, no violence, no violence. I'm sitting here like, bro, they are violence. They're committing violence on us constantly. 3,000 victims, 2,000 victims, and all they did was a slap on the wrist and a warning. We're talking about like hardcore stuff. That's insane. You see video recordings of that. You can see the pattern with Henry Novak, where the dude took a video of the dude. He was taking a video of the dude while he was bleeding out. That's what they've been doing. They've been committing atrocities against us, recording it, going and selling it amongst each other. We know this happens. Well, I know that this happens because I spoke to an Indian girl that, at the risk of her own life, explained to me how that dark black market explained to me how she would content, but it's other countries that are doing it. I would have more sympathy, you know, and not even very much more sympathy for somebody that's doing it that's an actual of that country. These people who have been executed legally for saying that. These people who have invaded this country. Think of the video games. Think of every single time you've seen some kind of war wave. You got to take him out. He's gonna pull open the gate. At the point they're gonna pull is that these foreigners come in and they somehow get at a nuclear factory. That's always been for like the last 5-6 years. I've been talking about how long is it going to take for foreigners to take over and then just blow up our power plants and then just lay nuclear waste all over us. How long is it going to take for that? Enough is enough. It should be enough before it becomes enough. This is insane. You know, all right, my parents said, no, don't think of it. You know, this shouldn't have anything to do with you. Bro, they're being put on the top of criticism for this person because they're a foreigner. You're not allowed to say. You're not allowed to have criticism of somebody that broke into the freaking country. They're a foreign exchange student. I don't care. Get them out of my fucking class. Americans and speak in English. And to speak Spanish. Enough is enough. And I'm talking about people who have broken into the fucking country, DACA included. If you're an American, doesn't matter. You know, whatever the hell you are, blue. If you're here illegally, we should all be rising again. Your jobs are taken. My jobs are taken. If you got a busted leg, like I do, you should be in that chair taking these calls. Not somebody who broke into the country. And the second layer to it, when I bring up females, women, they fucking voted for this, and they got their mouth shut about it. They just let it happen. No, that's why. I'm sorry. We need to take voting to be against our own country. Legal uprising. We need to get back to our root. All that money that they're sending over back to their country. remittances been on our pockets. That should have been in the government. We should be saying that. How dare you tax me on a 64 check in a day? I work for a day. 64 that $8 an hour, 8 hours. That $52 fucking paycheck. I'm like, I made $50 in a day. Competing with illegal invaders. This is insane. Enough is enough. We don't want to let it get to the point of axe. Axe. Chop, chop. That's the greatest threat that we have right now. People that hate us. You know, the people that said Trump supporters are the greatest threat on the planet. Imagine literally those people were getting paid for having that opinion, for having this America Last opinion. That's why they continued having that opinion. But that's what you're there for. You're supposed to help. But no, you don't fit our special. Speak Spanish enough, so we don't. I'm done with it. It could have been a beautiful future. We could have had a great future. Seeing people get attacked, that's why I was like, yeah, I'm my original thought process. Not supposed to be here. Get the fuck out. You know, get out of the Section 8 housing. We got illegal invaders in Section 8 housing. I should have that house. I'm low income. I can't make that. You should go back to your fucking country. And if y'all went back to go fix it, you lazy bastards, you wanna come here and run away from all of your problems and leave behind your entire country. That's hateful. That's cowardly, man. Thank you. I can't be a father. All the white women, screw all the, they're worthless. Okay, thanks. And then you imported a bunch of foreigners. No. There's a problem. You're gonna be in a fucking field and I'm gonna impregnate the fuck out of you while you're in that fucking field. All these fucking chicks. No, you're gonna do as you're fucking told. Future. Men are gonna take back this country. Doing highway work, that's all men. All men are working out there. While you're fucking ass behind a fucking computer screen. More money than most people wish that they could. Money, dude. That's insane. And you want to play little fucking games, you know, emotional games on people? Oh. Gotta get a Trojan horse in there. JD, a Trojan horse looks good. A person fixes. We have a coalition of dudes that are ready. Us. And then we should abuse the people who us. That okay. What the hell was the point in that? You're gonna have to do some fucking work. People are gonna have to really think about AI is gonna solve it. You're not gonna have to make that decision. It was gonna take that, but the women that got in charge, because they were apart from males, and they had their own freedoms, it led us to this, where our entire country, 10% of our don't belong here. So there is that I had some faith that women could fix this, as the males were being gullible. I was seeing someone down to a female, yes, ma'am. I see so much of that shit, and I'm just gonna take the female, the nope, you give them that power burst. An emotional coin new term. These laws, they don't want that responsibility. So this isn't hate against. That's not even what they want to be doing. They don't want to be sitting in that chair. They want to be cooking and cleaning, doing stuff that makes them feel good themselves. Because that's the real thing that makes them feel good. You know, just and you're never gonna be happy over that phone. That's a dude's job. The dude has the logic. The dude's supposed to, and then you've got that know basically like they've been. There's chicks out there that have be mentally like been able to hold that position, but that's rare. I'll give you an example. Generally, it's a 50%. You know, I'm seeing women and men. Women, the Philippines or something. These women, American women, hell no. But even the women that have that logic in that country, they don't want to be doing that job. They're doing it because they saw how to do it. And I see the women out there that are actually trying to. Yeah, generally they're not very friendly. Generally they don't have any friends. This is a crisis situation that we need to take drastic actions for. We need that kind of identity, apparently, to shift between who's legally here and who's not. His pitch. Labor Party. That's his pitch. You want to go what Keir Starmer said about digital identity and foreign. To stomp out the actually have, but giving them free housing as they can't have that job. They get the free housing. Yeah, we're not the free housing so that the people that are working end up having to pay for that housing, and the might don't have to work at all. Running chicks. Yeah. You know, just hang out while they're there too. So, I got hit by a car. I got off my butt. At a desk. I'm just gonna start the screen. I'm a robot. Robot that fucking guy. The other part of it is, right, if a dude tries to fix it, the woman's like, nope, don't do that. A good example is my had to fix problems, and I was told, nope, don't do that. Well, then the problem. Why I charge this? It doesn't matter. Yeah, we shouldn't be given, loans to invaders to go live on a home. Like, that's crazy. When people that are here, people that are born here, don't ever qualify for that loan. They're gonna have to rent for the rest of their life. Oh no, they're expected to be happy and be simple. Enough is enough. Take out the foreigners. That's main. That's the main thing. If I could ignore everything else that I said and get one of these things done, it would be foreigners. Get the hell out. You know, that we should be doing trade with you over the ocean, over the seas. That's why we're dealing with your country. We didn't go so you can hop aboard the ship, and we're not trying to import you. We're trying to do trade with you so you better. Stay in your own country and make it better. The reason why it's terrible in your country is because you're all running away from it. California. Look at how broken California is. So I threw my logo on my bag. I want to put it. I want to like make a quick a quick sort of attachment where I could just place it on something. Maybe put it on the back of my bike. Maybe put it on, you know, the back of. That's my next goal, is to turn that sign into something more malleable. I'm actually gonna remove it right now. Start working right now because I can actually talk right now. I'm not dealing with pain. There might be. What might have happened was when I used the lidocaine, it really dug deep to me. Do you smoke? I'm like, yeah, I smoke tobacco. You know, and then she's going to the extent of, do you vape? I'm like, bro, I'm in fucking asking me all these stupid questions that don't matter. I need something for the pain right now. She's like, oh, do you have mental issues? Like, she's on that now. Be kidding. I got it on recording, by the way. It was insane. And I'm like, lady, are you here to assess my level of rudeness, or are you here to help me? I'm like, in point, she asked like something else. I'm getting paid. You know, like, I'm like, look, you're here to do a job. I'm gonna be a very nice person. Get that 5-star rating on DoorDash because I'm really good with people. Fuck, be mean. Revenge or something. You just get it out of your system. You see a problem, you go blah, 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 blah. It's out of your system. That's the only reason why. And enough is enough at this point. It's because they've been allowed to speak out. In Scotland, they're not allowed to down with axes. They're done. We have freedom of speech in the country. Why there has not been an uprising against migrants? Because we've been able to get that like energy out of us. This is as civilized as we're ever going to get. Freedom of speech is important. This is as civilized as we're going to get. Instead of running around with clubs and bashing each other over the head, we're sitting here at each other. That I don't agree with. Besides that, you online. And people should be able to, you know, if it's not good for business, kick you out of their store. If you're going to be aggravating, then, and your point is to be aggravating, then you're the reason why we're not going to have free speech. So you're the type of person we don't need. The person who's going to exploit freedoms to, you know, just being mean. Commit to being. But we're going to fix this. Women on this channel, we don't hate women. We just understand that was the attack. They attacked us through our women. Our women were the most vulnerable. And the women that want to keep holding on to that power, you're doing something wrong. You're doing something wrong. Stop it. Here to do a job. Yeah, you're here to do a job. You're supposed to focus into a pillow. You need me. Have that job. I shouldn't have that job. You know, if a dude was sitting in a chair, right, and he was sitting there like doing this whole, I got these people on the phones trying to deal with doing that. What happens? Like, that's what Elon Musk. Those people in charge, they're gonna make it more efficient. You see the difference? They don't want to waste their time on the phone. They don't want to sit there and play around with, you know, word games and stuff. They're just trying to get the job. Why? Because dudes don't want to be bothered with trivial shit. So that's use their logic, and we'll see in the future how far this conversation gets. What I could also do is somehow like viewer discretion is advised. Double letters that quick. Dude, this takes me hours. So you're trying to make these bubble letters. You see? Well, actually, it took me about 40 minutes per, I think. But I'm lucky. But yeah, I know how to advertise stuff. I just haven't. It's a good reason not.